What's up, world? Welcome back to Charge the Game podcast. And again, this is a topic about Stephen A. Smith, man. Saying that he sees racism. Let's look at the title now. Stephen A. Smith sees racism in Cowboys ex Dan Quinn hire in Washington. So I haven't gotten into this report, but I want to get into this report with you guys because I'm curious to see what Stephen A. Smith said on his soliloquy. So let's look at this. And it says Stephen A. Smith on Cliff Kingsbury continuing to get jobs based on his relationships and not his football resume. This is the kind of stuff that doesn't happen for black folks. All right. So let me watch this and give you guys my take. Let's go.
But I am not exaggerating when I say this. Cliff Kingsbury, the now former coach for the Arizona Cardinals, I challenge anybody in football to tell me I'm wrong about this. This man is more known for his relationships with quarterbacks and that fly-ass crib he had during the NFL draft when COVID was going on and we saw where he's more known for that than he is for winning football games. That is a fact. We look at a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, and you know what we see as black folks? This is the kind of stuff that don't happen for black folks.
Okay, guys, I see where he's going with this, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of my 2 cents, which isn't much, but I want you guys to know, man, when it comes to sports, I don't like to mix the color side of things, even though I can see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears exactly what's going on. But I think that we do ourselves a disservice at times as black people by calling this out, because it's not like the world doesn't see what we see. We aren't the only people who are mistreated. We aren't the only people who I know this may not go over well for a lot of my brothers and sisters, but the truth is this is a very cringe topic. And though the media does stuff like Stephen A. Smith blow it up and make a big deal about it, it is a big deal. But so is corporate America. So is racism in a regular job. It's literally everywhere. So I don't believe in, going out on a public platform and saying this unless it's blatantly something that was said to a black coach or something in that nature, because we can't go off what assumptions behind the whole Eric Bieniemy thing. We know that Cliff Kingsbury is a Caucasian male. The truth is, Caucasians have the upper hand in society. It's been that way for a long time, centuries before me and you were born. And all I tell my people is, crime about it ain't gonna solve it. We are the only one that can solve it, and that's by us sticking together, but not through words, through action. You know what would happen if all of us locked arms and stood tall, right, for the right reasons and took back so much power? Because though these are athletes, I want you guys to know this. Black people are the African American race is the most consumers out of any product. And you know what that means? That means that people at the bottom, like us, who don't have the belief, the mindset for the most part, or the cultural settings geographically to be able to make a difference, this is what we're stuck with until we come together and change all of that. So going online and, saying this and that, I just, that's not my style. You got some people who will take off work and go, protest and do all this and that. That does not stop the president, who we may not like or who we may do like, from being in office. It's not going to stop the millions from their corrupted political pockets. It's not going to stop all that. The only thing that can stop that is us taking action. But we can literally sit on TV and yell at one another and say this and that. How do we know that Eric Bieniemy, everywhere he's going, like, something has to be up? We hear that he's hard to deal with. We hear that he's the bad guy and that he interviews terrible. And I look at it like this. If your player is more comfortable with a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, how is that, in my opinion now, how is that his fault? He can't help that he just got connection and he got a mouthpiece. You heard what Stephen A. Smith said. I remember that draft because it was a pandemic. He was in his house with the fireplace and the see-through windows, looking like like he deal cocaine. He was looking fly as a mug. But guess what? He can't help that he has a mouthpiece that knows how to set him up for success. He can't help that he knows how to go in and be more personable than technical. You see what I'm saying here? Now, that doesn't mean that he's better than Eric Bieniemy. He's just probably more like. Simple as that. Eric Bieniemy doesn't just have a relationship with the quarterback because he's not a quarterback whisperer. Cliff Kingsbury is. He can't help that his roots are in California, and he had the privilege of coaching and knowing Kyler Murray his whole career, and he can't help the fact that he's coaching Caleb Williams and they are lobbying for Caleb Williams to go to Washington because Cliff Kingsbury already has that connection in their relationship. It's business. So us as black people crying on TV about this, it's not gonna really get us nowhere. Now, am I naive? No. I know that it's very hard for us to get the same jobs. I know that we gotta work harder. That's a known. What can we do to change that is what I would like to talk about. Instead of just getting on here yelling. That's just me. Yell about a solution, right? Let's not yell about the problem. We could talk about it like we often do. But how about us just yelling about the solution, right? How about us developing our own league since we want to have so much say, right? Because it's very possible. You got all these athletes making millions and millions of dollars. Put your money together, right? So let's get into this report. I just want to go down and do that. It says former Dallas Cowboys top assistant Dan Quinn just oversaw the hiring to his new Washington Commanders offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, a move that has ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith accusing the organization of racism. I would say, Stephen A. Smith, how can you accuse the organization of racism when Magic Johnson just bought ownership of it, right? So he has a stake in it. So, I mean, I understand that he's a pretty well-off guy, but he is black. At the end of the day, he's black, right? In battled a known disease, a 5-time NBA champion, one of the great Lakers of all times. He's a black guy. So when you say that you're going to accuse this team of racism, man, like do the math, man, do the homework. All right. And at the end of the day, they did hire Eric Bieniemy. They gave him a chance. So I'm just confused. Maybe y'all aren't, but I am. Like, I'm confused on this because I feel like, hey, they gave him a chance. I know with the Rooney rule that they have to interview minorities, but even when they do that, and if they fake with it or if they don't want to go with the hire, then typically they don't. But at least Eric Bieniemy has had jobs. And from what I've read, looks like he's already getting calls. So anyway, let's keep going. The Commanders' previous head coach and coordinator are Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy, both people of color. Yes, Ron Rivera is, I believe, a Hispanic. I could be wrong, but I believe his native origins are Hispanic, and Eric Bieniemy is black, like we just discussed. But hey, they gave them both a chance. So I just look at it like, man, like this is what we don't want to hear as a society. We don't want to hear the fact of we don't want to hear the facts that I'm speaking. We only want to hear the facts that they are no longer there. We only want to argue about the result, but we don't want to argue about the process. The Washington Commanders were a bad team. They have a new ownership, a black minority in that ownership, and they want to revamp everything. So that comes with pulling everything out of the ground and starting over and planting a new garden. Like, that's what I'm getting from it. So for Stephen A. Smith, I just hate when a black loudmouth person goes on TV like that and are very loud about it. There's nothing wrong with being pro-black, but it's a difference in being pro-black with knowledge and common sense than it is of ignorance. And that's what Stephen A. Smith displays, because if you do the homework or just think with common sense like I did, then you will see that at the end of the day, the black man got a job before the minorities, Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy, they got a job before Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. I don't get it. Like, am I missing something? But that's what the media does. They want to get these things and hold on to it, and that's what it is. They want to make something out of nothing, in my opinion, and I just didn't see the need for this. It's what I'm getting at. So you guys weigh in on this and tell me what y'all think, man. As Stephen A. Smith has sounded off, accusing the organization of being racist, and I want to hear you guys' feedback. So if you are a Commanders fan, Washington Commanders, I must say I do like those uniforms, that matte burgundy helmet or whatever color it is. I like y'all color, man, and I'm a Philly fan, so hey, just showing y'all love, man. I like Sam Howell, man. I think that he plays his heart out. I think that it's a good football team. I like the running back. I like McLaurin. So yeah, man, you guys weigh in on this topic, man, and I want to hear from the fans out there in the DC area, man. Like, how do y'all feel about y'all new hire? How do y'all feel about Dan Quinn as a coach? How do y'all feel about Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive coordinator? I want to hear it all. So you guys drop your comments in the comment section, and if you guys rocking with the content, I want you guys to do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you guys can continue to get the latest when I drop my sports media takes. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Like always, let me know how you charge the game. Peace.